All right. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Power of Imagination podcast. Zach wants to know how I developed the attitude that you can feel and hear in the videos. Its wisdom feels divine. Is it a flow state that you can slip into? I am infinitely curious. Thanks for everything. I'm truly grateful. Zach, it was a pleasure bouncing back and forth with you this morning, and you're going to enjoy those packs tremendously. But I seem to digress. So, years ago, I got with the flow. That's not really true, but it's how a lot of people explain it because that's what they notice. I am the flow. I am what gives life, so are you, because this is the Power of Imagination podcast. And we don't teach things here or in NevilleGoddardStore.com about, well, you have to match your vibration to what you want. Let's explore how ridiculous that is. Seems to be true. Right? Because whenever you and someone else, when you and someone else tend to speak at the same rate and at the same volume, you're in rapport. And people go, wow, that must be how everything works. See, here's what I find. You are the sunshine that casts the shadows. You are the sunshine that gives life to the rainbows. And when I walk into a building, noticing that I'm the sunshine that gives life to rainbows, that casts the shadows, other people notice the same thing too. In other words, they become infinitely curious about someone that's not hypnotized by shadows and rainbows. Because some people, they chase rainbows and they avoid shadows. They try to match this and become unmatched with that. It's a lot of work. But how did I get the attitude? That's the question, right? How did I get the attitude? I got the attitude by stretching. You see, when the eagle stretches eagle's wings, eagle gets lifted up by invisible wind currents. Sure, there's some flapping at the beginning. Neville Goddard says when you put on a new suit, it doesn't feel right. And the more you experience it and explore the world in it, the more it becomes yours. Exploring is never boring to me. That's where the endless courses and calls and writings and articles come from here. Exploration. Not settling for an explanation. When people settle for explanations, it's because something out there makes sense to me, and I can adopt that and drop my timidity, my rigidity, my fears. Here's what I find. Gosh, there's so much worth exploring that it never gets boring. The truth about you sets you free, and the truth about you, it can't be contained on a bumper sticker. We can mention it. You are how God has the adventure of a lifetime. You are God having the adventure of a lifetime. Consciousness is the only reality, and you're conscious of the rainbows, the shadows, and I'm inviting you to become more and more aware of the sunshine that you are. And so we do the live calls, mostly on USA Sundays. We do the group calls, we do the Remarkables, the Dream-Driven Days. We've got endless things in the store. Because we keep exploring. Now here's the thing, let's back up. You got to stretch to soar. If the little eagle in the little nest sits there and doesn't stretch its wings, it will die. You need to stretch beyond what you've been all night long. The eagle rests in the nest all night long. And when you choose to start letting the sunlight of you shine, you got to stretch your wings. Maybe you got to flap a little bit. Right? Feel them out. Get a little lift. Find a current, a present. Wind currents. You get it, current? The present of you, the presence of you. See, I don't persist in states. I explore presence. How I'm being determines what I'm seeing. Now, this whole flow state thing, I really find this fascinating. I've researched it for years, played with it for decades, way before they even had a name for it. Because I noticed if I got 3 of my black belt students to fight with me at once, God, I fought so much better than if it was just one-on-one. 3 of them trying to beat the shit out of me, boy, that was great fun. I'd give them rolled up magazines and would pretend they were knives. Talk about just good fun. It really was. Because I allowed me to be more present. I allowed me to be more me. And I occupied the whole room. I was like that founder of Aikido, sensing people behind him when they attacked. And responding to that just for fun. Not reliant on the senses, but feeling the field. The expansion of who we are. Exploration leads to expansion. Think about this. You got to stretch your wings. Explore being who you haven't been yet. Right? One of the ways to do that is to imagine, to experience what implies your wish is fulfilled. A lot of people just imagine the wish. A lot of people get stuck on the past. You remember when she was single by imagining her married. I can remember when I had my BMW. The last month or 2, 3 months that I drove it, it felt like it was in the past, like it was already gone. And then one day I manifested a Mercedes, a lovely Mercedes, in 77 minutes. And it wasn't because I was assertive. It wasn't because I was confident. It was because I was stretching. So I've got a few ways to invite people to stretch. Zach, I commend your stretching. I'm watching what you're doing, what you're picking up. And I commend you in so many ways. One way to stretch with us, go to the store, buy some stuff. We've got so much cool archaeology out there in those live call recordings. I can promise you, your rational brain probably won't like them at first. But the dances within each one of those, 90 minutes, 2 hours, God, they will change your life. Because it's real people really dancing. Here's another thing, right? People buy into channeled stuff. Right, so there's somebody here that's going to go into a trance to bring forth data and information and comedy from someone who's not here, who's someone who's elsewhere. Dance with some real humans, for God's sake. It all feels rubber doll to me. I'm a fan of real humans exploring with real humans, because you really are 100% divine and 100% human. In other words, you are where divinity and humanity dance. And that just might be what flow really is. It's not something we get to achieve or move into, but it's something that is ever present to experience. Zach, if you join us in Remarkable at any time, our most recent call was about something we call upside. And upside is all about that. Feel free to chat with me about that. And for everyone else, go to the store, pick up some goodies, join us in joinremarkable.com. Change your life. You're so worth it. But you got to stretch. That's the big thing. Doesn't involve strength, right? Doesn't involve struggle. It's all about stretching. And Zach, I appreciate you asking me this today. See, you stretched and asked a question. And I stretched, and an answer spilled forth, soaring on those invisible wings. Yet I don't know exactly what I'm going to say when I do a podcast or answer a question. I get to just access altitude. And with altitude comes attitude. And it's not an attitude of putting anything on. It's the attitude that comes from soaring, stretching, feeling alive, and realizing that we are what gives life. We are the sunshine that gives life to the shadows and the rainbows. My name is Mr. 2020. I do want to thank you for listening. And just for fun, those of you who haven't yet, we're going to do a third crass commercial. ManifestingMasteryCourse.com. Imagine sending us your weekly updates. Something short and sweet so we can get to know you. It's so cool. Not doing it all on your own, but flying with a flock of eagles. Let us go into the silence. So I just looked at your email again. Ready? A flow state isn't something we slip into. We are the silence, we are the stillness that all motion happens within. The silence of you hears the sound of my voice, and its sincerity and its love. We don't slip into a flow state. We tend to forget the light that we are. We are the sunshine that gives life to the shadows and the rainbows. But the moment we identify with a shadow or a rainbow, or we seek one and hide from the other, we stop noticing we are the sunshine. That's where it comes from. I'm glad you stuck around to the very end. Thanks for listening. Sharing is caring. For those who love to share cat videos but not us, I'm infinitely curious. I really am. Yeah, and I do appreciate your thanks. I do. You know, you all say thanks, you're blessing my life. I'm just going to go into a little rant. I don't get why you don't share it. And I do. See ya.